Hi, Mark Medina with the LA Times Lakers blog. The Lakers coming off a rare loss since the All-Star break, 95-90 defeat to the Denver Nuggets. It really showed a lot of characteristics that we hadn't seen since the All-Star break. Some bad turnovers, 20 of them. Some poor shooting. They went 36-84 from the field. That's 42% as a whole. And the Lakers failed to execute in late-game situations, most notably Kenny Martin getting a tip-in over Lamar Odom. He accepted the blame, so he didn't communicate with Ron Artest with locking him up, preventing the putback. Lamented the fact that this is something that happened similarly against San Antonio earlier this season, where Antonio McDyess got a game-winning tip-in. But really it comes down to the Lakers' lack of execution consistently throughout the game. Now, what does this mean big picture? Well, in terms of its development, not much. The Lakers are 17-2 since the All-Star break, but as they were getting off to this hot winning streak, they wound up catching San Antonio in the Western Conference standings for first place, but now that sets them back a little, 2.5 games. The Lakers have maintained all along that that's not something that they're worried about. If they're able to get home court advantage over them, great. If not, all that matters is how well they're playing basketball. But against the Denver Nuggets, they just did not play well at all in adjusting to how the Nuggets look without Carmelo Anthony. They have Raymond Felton, Wilson Chandler, Danilo Gallinari, Timothy Mozgov. They have a much deeper team, and then when you add the fact that they have some personnel that the Lakers are familiar with J.R. Smith, Kenyon Martin, and the like, that definitely makes them a deep team. And they also were without Chris Anderson, the Birdman, and Aaron Aflalo, who both had injuries. They decided to sit out, but the Lakers still weren't able to overcome it. You can blame it a little bit on the fact that they weren't familiar with their team, because this is the first time they played against Carmelo Anthony. But I think Phil Jackson really put it well in context, where you look at Kenyon Martin, he had 18 points, Nene had 12 points, Ty Lawson had 8 assists. They're pretty familiar with those players. They still got their contributions. Now, a lot of things late in the game, I mentioned Lamar Odom. For some reason, Andrew Bynum was not in the lineup. Andrew had said that he felt all right after colliding knees, but he kind of got a sense that Phil Jackson sat him out late in the game for a precautionary measure. But Phil said after the game that he was good to go if he wanted to, but didn't really elaborate other than that as far as why he didn't play down the stretch. But there's a lot of things that go beyond, just kind of the miscues late in the game. They just did not have the proper energy. You can blame it a little bit on the early start. The Lakers are 4-4 in Sunday afternoon games, but it really comes down to they were just playing uncharacteristically when you compare how well and sharp they played before this game during this stretch after the All-Star break. When they faced difficulties in other games, they were able to find a way to grind through it, such as their second half comeback against Utah 2 nights ago. They made sure they had consistent ball movement. That did not happen at all. Kobe Bryant went 10-27 from the field. Part of that, he was trying to light some energy in the team, but a lot of questionable shots that he took. Pau Gasol really wasn't aggressive. 7 of 10 from the field was a little deceiving, because he really could have gotten a little bit more aggressive with driving through the lane, but settled a lot for mid-range jumpers. He had a little bit of a scare in the third quarter where Nene hit him with a hard foul, landed awkwardly on his knee, briefly left to go to the trainer's room and get some treatment, but he said he's fine. So really, it's just a poor performance. Looks like the Lakers are very capable of bouncing back and adjusting, but I think that this is a pretty good reminder, even though the Lakers don't want this to happen and obviously makes it more difficult for the home court advantage implications in the standings. I think it provides a little bit of a reminder that this isn't how you play basketball. Ironically enough, Tex Winter, the longtime Lakers assistant and Bulls assistant under Phil Jackson and the key architect of the triangle offense, he's inducted in the Naismith Hall of Fame, but they did not follow any principles at all that he's been teaching over the years with ball movement, teamwork, and all that in the triangle. And I think that this, again, provides a reminder that the Lakers just can't simply rest on their laurels and think that success will keep replicating itself based off momentum. You have to put in those good habits to make sure they carry us through. That didn't happen against Denver, but when you look at the grand scheme of things, Lakers still 17-12, can still bounce back as soon as against Utah on Tuesday.